You can sponsor Black Facts by calling me up at 615-554-0568, and we'll get you an advertising package put together. And also, if you're interested in doing a show here on Jordan Radio, we've got some spots available for that as well. So, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So where do we start? I guess the best place to start, I definitely want to talk about the far-right arsonist who was trying to burn down the synagogue, and he ended up catching himself on fire.
Yeah, you would want to. You enjoy this. You enjoy this way.
Oh, I do. I love it when karma slaps them.
You love this way too. You enjoy this way.
I mean, come on. You go in to try to burn down somebody's synagogue, place of worship, and you end up catching yourself on fire. You get exactly what you deserve.
That's what they say. God don't like ugly. Right?
Exactly. And sometimes he don't like pretty either. So I find that interesting. Of course, the latest news to come out of the Trump camp is your boy Jeffrey Epstein. Oh man, if you're not following this story, and I don't know how y'all say Trump can't be implicated because there's pictures of him with young girls, Donald Trump, and more importantly, the young 13-year-old girl, the young girl who alleged that he raped her back in the day. At the time she was 13, she dropped her suit. She's refiled it again. So this is going to get interesting. So I'm excited about that. Also, your boy Tom Cotton, he's raised $1 million for his campaign re-election already. So you're a Cotton fan, aren't you?
You like him.
That's a double entendre. Didn't you say you picked Cotton one time?
Yeah, I picked Cotton, but it wasn't Tom Cotton.
Yeah, okay. I'll just say it. I just thought maybe when you said you picked Cotton, you were talking about Tom. But
not that Cotton.
but you know, I'm of the mood now, and particularly after our conversation yesterday, Robert, is I just want to turn them all out. I want all of them out of there.
They can't do that.
I know it ain't gonna happen, but I would love that on election day, that I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, if you're running for office, you lose your office. I'd love that.
Yeah, you know, I think if we had a more educated electorate, then we would get better candidates.
I agree.
But unfortunately, we don't have that educated electorate, and I understand that too, because people are working and trying to do their thing. So I get that.
Yeah, but that's really no excuse. I mean, those same people that are working,
well,
if they're black, they can tell you everything that happened on Empire.
Well,
if they're white, they can tell you everything that happened on what is it, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Again, though.
Or Hee Haw.
Again, those things are things that they do to
Or Chrisley Knows Best.
Chrisley Knows Best pretty good.
That's a stupid show.
I watch it sometimes. I like dude. I'm still trying to figure out if you can or not. But I watch the show. I think it's a pretty good show.
So, but anyway, I wish they all would be turned out. I just do. I'm at that point
they
now.
will. I mean, I think what's unfortunate is that with the election of Obama, you got a lot of black folks who are now following national politics, but are getting the brakes beat off their tails in their own cities, in their own states,
and don't get that.
Idea about it.
And it's funny you bring that up because that's a very interesting point. You're right. There are a lot of black people now that Obama was elected. They following national politics. You're even seeing a lot of black people getting into national races, and that's great.
Yeah.
But when you look at their hometowns, Little Rock is a classic example. When you look at their hometowns, it's a piece of crap.
Yeah, they have no idea. I had a cousin call me about 2 weeks ago and said, "Hey man, I think they're trying to screw me." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I just want to pay my personal property taxes. Man, I gotta pay all this stuff. I was like, dude, it's probably no more than $3 or $4. I mean, what are you complaining about? He was like, man, I gotta pay all this stuff. I was like, have you never looked at it before? You've always been paying this stuff. Maybe because you're getting older, you're accumulating more stuff. And instead of you paying $1.50, now you might be paying $10 instead of paying $1.50. So you're just accumulating more stuff, and that's a good thing. But he didn't even know that he was paying for the school district in there. He had a city sales tax in there. He had no idea about all that. Because a lot of people don't even scroll through to look at their bill. A lot of people don't look at their tax bill. They just pay it. And honestly, your personal property tax bill, you don't look at it until it's time to renew your tax.
True.
You don't think about it any other time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're just not, unfortunately, we're just not very,
Volume.
we're just not, we're just not conscious of what's going on around us. And that's unfortunate, but I get it.
Well, so it's unfortunate, but at what point do we say, did he have an epiphany and say, oh, I'm going to start following this now?
I doubt it.
And
He was only concerned. His only concern was that it was so high. Nothing else would bother him. It was just that it was so high because the thing. Like I said, the more stuff you accumulate, the higher it goes. And I think he has about 2 or 3 cars and different stuff. So
he packing like a miner, me.
Yeah. So the more stuff you have, I think he has a couple, 2 or 3 cars, a boat, and a trailer. And so the more stuff you have, right, the more your personal property taxes are. So I think that now that he's accumulating more stuff, he realizes that everything you accumulate, they taxing you for.
Yeah, but I would, and again, everybody is different, but I would probably, after I had that epiphany, I'd start paying attention to, well, if you're taxing me, where's my money going?
Nah.
And see, but you say no, but therein lies the problem.
Right. Well,
therein lies the problem. Not to be critical of him.
Not everybody has an interest in politics.
I understand it, but knowing where your money goes is not necessarily an interest in politics. It's just understanding where your money is being spent.
But people have been told for so long that they're going to do what they want to with the money anyway. That some people don't even understand that you can be a part of that process. You can, to some degree, say where your money should be spent. Whether they spend
started low.
Or not, So.
Well, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in Fayetteville. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
I never like when you do that. It's like you set me up for something. By the way, let me ask you something.
It's an easy question.
Like I'm being interrogated by police. Robert, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, it's an easy question.
Okay.
If you disrespect your customers, and then your customers say that they're not going to spend money with you, do your customers owe you an apology?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Okay. So says the white supremacist in Fayetteville.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio on JoyNetRadio.com. Kill the mics. Now you need to do a stop set. Go ahead and hit. Yeah. And fade the. There you go. Okay. Now, when I say kill the mics, instead of waiting to slide them down, you got to slide them down fast, or you hit the off button. Okay. So when you're killing mics, that means you're getting them off the air. So you got to hit those buttons and close them out. Okay. Give me some monitor. Now, when you come back, you're going to come back with the bed after this stop set plays. Okay? And you notice, as I told you, if you hit those stop sets, they're going to play immediately. So to solve that problem is you need to make sure that when that pot is not being used, it needs to be off. Okay? Yeah, when we're doing manual, that pot can be turned off. You just have to remember to turn it back on. Okay? So to know where it is, just leave it up. Just make sure it's turned off. Okay?
So I can really look this and this up. I just gotta turn it back on.
Yes.
11 AIM certified personal trainers even offer nutritional guidelines for my personal workout. It's about me at a kick above. Call 501-868-8850 or go to akickabove.com. Yeah, what am I wearing tonight? Thanks to a kick above, I look marvelous.
Mitchell Funeral Home welcomes all of Arkadelphia and Arkansas in Clark County since 1966. At Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the funeral is a celebration of life and legacy, so the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services so as to serve you well. Call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com.
How much time do I have?
Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611.
You need to be letting me aware, making me aware of that.
And service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Bed. No. Just turn my mic on when he gets in. You can turn his mic on. All right, welcome back to the show, Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. If you want to join the show, I know some of you all are wondering where we are on Facebook. I don't know. I just rebooted my phone. Maybe we'll get on Facebook here in a moment. So we'll see what happens. But for some reason, some days, Facebook likes to trip. And today is one of those days. Okay, there we go. It's on. You know, so it's always like, it always does that. So, this past weekend I was in Kansas City, but I had to go through, I went up 49, which takes you right smack dab through Fayetteville, and then Bella Vista. By the way, outside of Bella Vista, right before you cross the Missouri, right after you cross the Missouri line. By the way, is Fayetteville still Dry County?
No.
It isn't. Okay. There is a great liquor store there. It just is.
I'm not gonna say that because I know they. I'm not gonna say.
I think it's still dry.
It dry, but they just have bars.
Yeah. I don't think they have liquor stores.
I don't think so.
Cause now I know.
But there's enough liquor there. They don't need a liquor.
Oh, trust me, I know. You know, at one point in Arkansas, every county that had a college was dry.
Yeah.
Every county. Now I understand that now in Magnolia, that's not dry any longer.
No, Magnolia not dry.
Okay, and
Wet.
I know Conway isn't dry any longer.
Conway's still dry.
Is it still dry?
Conway's still dry.
Okay, but I know there are a couple who have
Yeah. A
uh,
lot of them are, and the terrible thing about Saline going wet is that really hurt our tax base.
mhm.
It really hurt our tax base.
Mhm.
We lost a lot of money because people coming from Benton and Bryan and all those places around, they
Mhm.
would come to Little Rock to buy
To
their
buy.
liquor. But when Benton and when Saline County, or Benton and Bryan, or what the Saline County, I don't know which.
Well, isn't Conway in Saline County?
No, Conway's in Faulkner.
Faulkner. Yeah, that's right. That's
But
right.
when they went wet, it killed us, man, because we lost a ton of revenue.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
You can actually see the correlation between the revenue we lost
Mhm.
and what we would get from liquor sales.
Mhm.
You can see the disconnect.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, the reason, because I was going to say that there's a great liquor store in Bella Vista. By the way, if you're going through Bella Vista and it says 45,
230.
you better be doing 30.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Don't do
I'm serious. And
45 and 1/10, they gonna pull you.
exactly, but right outside of Bella Vista, just after you cross the state line, there's a great liquor store to the left, and it has every kind of beer.
Really?
Beer that you couldn't. Why are you licking your lips? You getting thirsty?
Yeah. I'm thinking about a shot of Hennessy right now.
And lots of different types of tequilas. I'm one of those people. I like to go in stores like that just to look around
Okay.
And it has sections where it has certain wines,
Right.
from cheap wine all the way up to big dollar
Have
wines.
you been to the winery up in Fayetteville? Up in what is it, not Fayetteville, Warriors?
You talking about the Whitaker Winery?
Yeah,
Just-
yeah.
I have not. I'm planning to take a trip there.
Let me know when you
Right,
go.
right.
I wanted to go.
Okay,
My son wanted to go.
okay. I'm planning to take a trip. But anyway, they have St. Pauli girls. You know, now if
I
I
hear people talk about St. Paul.
See,
You talked about that before. Never had
man,
St. Paul.
I love me. It is the only place that I've seen in Arkansas that still sells St. Pauli girls, and no one down here sells Moosehead. I don't.
Actually, a lot of people sell Moosehead.
They don't anymore. Now the store right over there off of well, I'm not gonna give a plug, but there was a store I used to go to all the time. Used to sell St. Pauli girls all the time, but they no longer do
They
it
don't do it
anymore.
anymore.
I'm a foreign beer drinker. I don't drink domestics.
Oh, my bad.
You know, and I don't drink
You a bougie bitch.
and I don't drink canned beer.
You a bougie bitch.
Hey, I'm just saying.
You don't
I
drink
like
beer.
what
You
I like.
don't drink, your six packs cost $10 a six pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. You just got
you know,
You gotta
I'm
like
just
that.
saying. My favorite beer right now is Stella Artois.
Stella Artois.
Yeah, Stella Artois.
Okay.
You know, so
I drink Stella if they ain't got nothing else.
Stella is great. That's a great beer.
Yeah, I guess it is. I drink Stella if they ain't got nothing else.
Are you a Budweiser guy?
I used to be a Budweiser.
You know what I used to call that?
What's that?
Rice patty juice.
Now I used to drink
Because it had no flavor.
I ain't drinking no flavor.
Oh, well, see,
I ain't drinking
that's
for
the
flavor.
difference between,
I ain't
see,
drinking for flavor.
I'm drinking for taste, flavor. I like to be able to taste the hops, the mellow notes that are
So
in.
you must be boiling your beer then.
No. In fact,
I'm drinking for the
oh,
hops.
by the way, the next time my brother makes, see, we make our own beer too.
I'm drinking for the hops.
Of course I am. Okay.
This doesn't have enough barley.
Well, look, my brother makes his own beer. We've put out probably about
The fermentation of this beer is a little off.
I've said that. You know, the alcohol content needs to go up just a little. Different things. But the next
I don't
time,
care about
the
that.
next batch should be pretty. It's getting close to coming off.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you a bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm serious.
Yeah. Okay.
You think I'm? Look, wait a minute.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute. This day comes. You think I'm
I
playing?
know you ain't
You know, dude.
you special when it comes to that. Man.
Dude,
I
it
can't
was,
mess with you on that.
dude, it was great. I'm serious. It was
Hey,
fantastic.
When you there are some drinkers like you who are connoisseurs, right? I am a connoisseur, but I'm a connoisseur getting drunk. I'm not a connoisseur how to take.
Don't be saying that in front of them.
Well, I mean, hey, don't do as I say. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. But I'm a connoisseur. I'm trying to get right. I'm not trying.
But you know what? It's nothing like making your own beer and then achieving
I make my own beer.
and then achieving that level in which you're discussing.
At the liquor store, I make my own beer. When I make that payment, when I push that card up in that machine,
Boy, I tell you.
done deal. But you know what? I quit drinking beer, man. I haven't drank beer. I'll have a beer if I go out. If I go out for dinner somewhere, I'll have a beer. But man, I'm really trying to get away from beer, trying to lose some weight, man, get some weight off of it. So I've really quit drinking beer so much, and I'm drinking more liquor. So I haven't drank beer. I haven't really drank beer in probably 3 years, man. Just trying to drop this weight. It's been okay.
Well, I don't drink a lot of beer the way I used to
Yeah.
because of the weight issue. And so I can't drink light beer. I just has no flavor to me. I'm sorry, I'm not drinking that mess. Okay, I'm just not.
No, I do like Corona Light. Corona Light's pretty good.
I'm not drinking light beer. All right, but making my own beer.
Hey, speaking of beer, man, I need to tell you about your boy the mayor. Your boy the mayor, piece of work, man.
What you
That's
mean?
your boy, man. That's
Well,
your
by the
boy.
way, he's going to be on the show next. He's supposed to be on the show Monday.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Tell you.
Yeah, I see you.
You go.
Your boy just a piece of work, man.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about
Let's
that.
go. That's right. Let's have it. How long you want to take up for your boy? Come on.
No, I'm saying when you. Well, give me an example. What are you talking
Well,
about?
you know, the board meeting was.
We'll get to the Fayetteville story here
No,
tomorrow.
let's go do the favorite story. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So we'll get that.
All right. So let's go ahead and do the Fayetteville story. The Fayetteville restaurant co-owner, and I saw this story first last week. I thought it was hilarious. Who demanded an apology from liberals and the LGBT community has now been served a restraining order and is no longer allowed to step inside of the business.
What now?
He has
The owner.
He's been served a restraining order. Okay?
That he can't come in his own spot.
Right. So last week, Paul Dunn stood in front of the New American Restaurant, that's the owner, and which used to be AQ Chicken. I don't know what AQ Chicken is. What's up?
Oh, he's crashing.
Oh, suck it down.
This one.
Is it? Let's take a picture.
Man, let's give him a mic.
Come on, Rev.
Uh-oh.
Rev, what you
We'll
plugging,
get
Rev?
him on here in a
What you
moment.
plugging, Rev? What you plugging, Rev? What you plugging?
But anyway.
Please, man, like this. He plugging something.
Soon after the demand, the family who sublet the building to Don filed a restraining order to keep him off the property. According to court documents, the family claims that the comments were an example of what they called Don's alarming and erratic behavior. They used what I said in the press conference against me like I was threatening the public, saying, "I see you on the dark side of the moon" isn't a threat. Okay? Dunn says the Pink Floyd album he referenced is about the human experience, greed, conflict, and political insanity, which he says is what happened to him. He said the line during the news conference as bait. Oh, he's that clever. Yeah, okay. I baited them, according to him. But these white supremacists kill me. I baited them and they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Not only did the haters fall for it, all you have to do is go to the blogs and go online and you'll see all the hate. Dunn says a group of people took it even further Sunday. I was attacked, blindsided, plastic put, and tried to be killed, he said, pointing to his head. Dunn is now recovering at an area hospital and says he filed a report with the Springdale police. Okay? So here's a guy who came out last week and was basically lambasting the LBGT community and really people of color, minorities, period, and claims that they owe him an apology because now banks refuse to offer him loans. Now his restaurant is half built. So now apparently the people that he was subletting from are saying, "Hey, see dog, you can't,
You gotta go.
you got to go."
Yeah.
So now he says, "Well, I was just baiting y'all."
He's been mistreated.
Misunderstood.
Totally misunderstood.
Yeah.
Mistreated. You should have more sympathy.
Yeah.
You
That's
should
that's
have
like
more sympathy.
that's like Mitch McConnell saying he and Obama are both descendants of slaves. I'll let that resonate with you for a moment.
Meaning they aren't descendants of slaves. Yeah. Okay.
855-525-5683 is the number. We've got Rizal Aroncott in here today.
Y'all wanna let me talk?
He's looking all dapper.
Alright,
I'm
y'all
gonna
wanna
let
let
you
me
talk.
y'all wanna let me
Just
talk?
bust
You know-
up in here. How we gonna take your ass?
You know, he's
Is this thing on? Dave tell you not to turn it on?
Okay, you got it on? You got it out of program? In program? All right.
What's happening, gentlemen? How y'all
How you
doing
doing,
today?
Tim? What do we owe the pleasure?
I'm trying to wonder why y'all picking on white racist folks, man. I don't understand that. Why y'all picking on the man?
Well, because they arrested you.
He's trying to make it. He's,
Anything else? You got anything else?
See that thing? Hit the rim
trying to-
shot right
trying to
there. See
make-
that thing
trying
that
to
says
make
rim
an
shot?
honest
Hit
living,
that, make
man,
sure
and y'all picking
on
on
the
the
quick
man. What do
deal.
y'all mess around in Fayetteville
Yeah,
anyway, and y'all in Little Rock? What's wrong with y'all, man?
Well, I was just going through Fayetteville. The other thing that I was going to say about that real quick,
Yeah.
I made sure that I didn't spend 1 red cent in Fayetteville. Not 1 red cent. I didn't buy gas. I didn't buy a donut. I didn't buy a stick of gum.
Not one thing.
I didn't spend 1 red cent up there.
I like Fayetteville. Is this thing on?
I like this.
Yeah.
I like Fayetteville. I actually got the key to the city from Fayetteville. I like Fayetteville.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but,
Yeah. The mayor gave me the key to the city a couple years ago.
Oh my God.
He know not what he done
Hey,
done.
for work in civil rights, nonetheless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
And if you got enough money, I'll let you see the key one day.
That's okay.
Hey, hold on. Did the key open up in the bank?
That's what I want to say. Is it worth any money?
Is it open up in the bank?
If it's worth some money,
Open some bank vaults.
You know.
Open some bank vaults. Let's talk.
No, but I think when you get the key to the city, you can just go in any place you want to. So you just go in there and you tell the bank managers, wear a mask when you do it. Go by there and tell them that you got the key to the city and you want in the bank.
Well, no.
See how that works.
But think about it.
You want in
Remember
the
the
bank.
story I read a while back where the black mayor, I forgot what city that was in, the black mayor goes to the bank to review the city's books,
yeah.
and they call the police on him,
Yeah, I saw
the
that.
black mayor. So yeah, you go ahead and do that.
But hey, no, seriously, congratulations. I didn't know that. How long was that?
About 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the mayor gave me, man.
So why do they have the sign up when you
keep
get
up.
to Fayetteville that says Rezell Aaron keep out? I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, that guy has an age just like my dog back in Little Rock.
Yeah,
They gave it to him and thought he was white.
That's
Ah,
what it is. See, on
that-
the way out, they thought about it
that
after I
is-
got out
That
of town, and they
is-
put the sign
that
up.
is-
He looked kind of like he looked at that orange glow like Trump. I thought he was
That
white.
is-
That's what it is.
you know.
Well, I'm glad y'all got a sense of humor
Right.
today, man.
And you know, in the boot hills of Missouri ain't no better. We were counting black folks.
Hey, a whole lot.
It wasn't in it, except us two in the truck. You know.
Y'all had tinted windows, right?
No, I got those windows where when you roll them up, it actually looks like a white person.
Oh, okay.
You know, I got those. So
Yeah,
you know,
it was okay.
that was cool. Yeah.
Next time you go down there, get you a big rebel flag and stick it on the back of your car and ride.
Or I'll give you my country music playlist. You can just play it all the way. You won't have no problem, man.
Swinging and twanging.
That was down to Joe. He was looking for
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, look, the other day, my daughter was riding with the grandsons, man, and she messed around and turned to a country station, and a song came on, and my grandson, 5 years old, knew the words to the song and started singing it. Yeah.
You learned that from Brian, what you did.
Where to get that
You
from?
learned that from Brian.
And look,
Rizzi.
I'm serious, man. 5 years old singing the words to
Where
a
do
country
you get
song,
that
man.
That from Rizzi. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with country music, man. Country music is okay. I mean,
Well,
I like good music.
you know, black
I don't care
people.
who
You know,
sings it.
black people started country music, right?
Yeah, black people start everything.
I'm serious.
That's right, all music.
And if you're talking to the guy who lived in Nashville,
Yeah,
Tennessee
yeah,
for
yeah,
15
yeah.
years. Okay.
Yeah, so you know what, Dave?
Okay.
You get on my nerve. I lived in Nashville, so I know all things music.
Well,
You're all wrong.
well, but I'm just saying.
I lived in Nashville, and you know nothing.
Well, of course you don't know anything about
I've been to
country
the
music.
radio opera more than anybody from Arkansas. Stop it.
Look, Dave, I respect.
Actually,
I
you know-
respect your expertise.
You never
Thank
went to
you.
the
I
Grand Ole Opry?
respect
For
your
other
expertise.
concerts, I actually
Oh,
saw.
You went to Grand Ole Opry for other concerts. You
Yeah.
go for no country concert?
No.
Oh, you can't never talk to me no more about music. I'm done with you playing.
The
They have-
Grand Ole Opry.
They have-
I don't care. I'm done with you.
They have other music at the Grand Ole.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
they have
did not- I
concerts
didn't
all
know
the time
that. I'm
now.
done with you.
Let's see. I saw Patti LaBelle
Turn his
there.
mic- Turn his mic off.
Hey, I saw.
Patti LaBelle ain't been in no Grand Ole Opry,
See,
man.
y'all have
She
no
ain't-
idea.
man.
When you've been blazed, sound like heaven.
No. The Ryman Auditorium, which is downtown, and the Grand Ole Opry
The Ryman, which is downtown.
are the two best venues to hear music.
Okay.
So you got to understand that even though it was country music, the sound quality still had to be up to par. So they made those venues. They are the best places in Nashville. Now the Skirmahorn Symphony Center they just recently built that about
The Scuffany Horn.
the Skirmahorns.
I don't think this
Right.
thing is on, man. Is
It's-
this thing
it's
on?
on.
Why y'all playing
It's
with
on.
me?
It's on.
Hey, you might want to
But-
through the thing.
But anyway, but the Ryman Auditorium is the best place to hear music. But I'm just simply saying, look, country music is everywhere.
Oh, that's better.
That's better. There you go, Brazil. Okay. But anyway, so we were talking, Roselle, why are you here?
Well, look.
I mean, because look, let me
I've
tell you
been trying
something.
to
Wait a
figure
minute,
it out.
wait a minute.
Like that.
Wait a minute, let me tell you
It's
something.
okay, man. Look.
You
So
always
when,
welcome. You always welcome, Rizzi.
when you come at this time, you ought to be coming in that door with some sandwiches, some pizza.
Oh yeah.
Something,
They
bro.
They want you to bring lunch.
It's 12 o'clock, man. We got interns here. They hungry. Look at them. Don't they look hungry?
They said bring
Look,
lunch.
look at Jemiah over there. She said, "Yeah, I'm hungry. I need something to eat."
Look, I'm gonna give y'all something.
Okay.
Let us pray.
Oh man.
Wait a minute, dog. You're on the wrong show, man.
Preacher
You
pray,
got these heathens
Preacher
up
pray
there.
for the hungry. They don't feed them. They pray for them.
You're exactly right. I'm giving you spiritual food.
Right.
Well, dog, my stomach growling.
They pray for the hungry between meals.
Now, that was a preacher who said
That would
that.
really be funny if it wasn't true. That would really be funny. If
I
it
know.
wasn't true.
Lord.
Jesus, Brazil.
No, I've been taking care of some business today, man, and one of them reporters called me about an interview, and I told him, I said, well, I got till 2 o'clock to my next meeting, so why don't y'all come by join that, and I'll give y'all an interview, and then we can move on. So I said, why don't I stop by here early and sit in and see if Dave and Rob will let me in the door.
Let you leave.
Yeah, and
Knock
listen,
on the window. How you couldn't-
Well,
how you
y'all
couldn't
must
get
not have known who it was, because Miss
Yeah.
Ivy came and opened the door, so y'all couldn't have known who it was.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, I wouldn't have sent her out there. had
I
I
know
known.
you. I know. No, he telling the truth.
I'm just being
in?
honest.
tell the
You
truth.
always good, Rich.
You ought to see how he act when he over here producing the Power of Justice show over there, just rolling his eyes and popping his neck like he's straight from the hood, man.
So I hadn't produced.
I don't know why he be hating on a brother, man.
I hadn't produced your show in the last week or so. I
I don't
mean,
know why they hate so hard, man.
That's what I'm
He did the
saying.
same to me, man.
And see, even when Mr. Williams and Miss Ivy were producing the show, I could feel something over my back. You know how you can feel somebody staring at you, mean mug, and you just want to do something to you? And I turn around, and then Dave heard him turn his face like he wasn't looking at him. That's Dave, man. And I thought we were cool because he trained me,
They told me.
my media
you don't
mentor.
like because you light skin.
And so I thought we was cool, man, but apparently we ain't.
They still like because you light skin.
I believe you,
He
man.
said he said when we were back in slavery, you was in the house.
The
he was
people
outside.
that talk about racism the most are the most racist.
They are, aren't they?
so let me just tell y'all something, okay? Those of y'all who know me by now, that I ain't the type that's gonna talk behind your back. You know, I'm gonna tell you in your face. You know, if you got a booger hanging out your nose, I'm gonna say, hey, Robert, that's a booger in your
Why
nose.
you ain't say Rizal? Why
I want Rizal to feel at home. You know,
He's trying not to be too hard on me, man. He don't want to be too hard.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do though? What are you trying to do now? He's trying to make me pick on you. So that way, I won't feel like I'm
See,
like,
he's good at
see
talking
that
behind
reverse
my back.
psychology? See how that worked? Yeah, you got that, didn't you?
Yeah,
You got
he
that.
good at talking behind my back,
Yeah.
man, but he's scared when he face to face with me, man. So I don't even worry about him when we meet up face to face because I know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
You see the look on his face right now? Can you smell that? I smell something, man.
Can-
What is that smell, man?
I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying. But anyway, we're having we got a gang of nutballs in here today, y'all. So, but anyway, we talked about the thing in Fayetteville. I mean, what's on y'all's mind? I mean, I know the Bradley Blackshire hearing for Charles Starks is coming up on the 25th. I won't tell you who it was, but I had a meeting this morning with a young lady, and she's actually an older lady, who moved to Little Rock, who grew up in Little Rock, who moved away and has moved back. And she basically said the same thing that I've been saying. Where the hell is the black leadership in this city?
Yeah.
She said she's stunned at the lack of black momentum on issues like the Blackshear
You
case.
can't have black momentum when everybody got a job and they're working for the very close. You can't do that. You
Well,
can't
that's
have
not,
momentum.
you know, that ain't the problem. The problem is they scared that the people that control their money is gonna stop giving them money. That's the
That's
real
it.
problem.
I said
is
working.
that, well, yeah, I guess you are on
'Cause they're
point
working
then,
for
because we have some leaders that are in positions of authority that live off the state, and as long as they live off the state, they're not going to be standing out front and open about real issues, and that's part of the problem. You know, I extended an invitation to NAACP leaders from the units all across the state. I sent all of them an email invitation, and I've called some, but only about a quarter of them have been interested to coming on the Power of Justice to talk about what they are doing in their communities. And I'm not sure how to even take that. Are they not doing work and don't want to talk about the fact that they're not doing work? Or are they doing work and just don't want to talk about it? Because they have an opportunity to talk about real issues and the things that are going on in communities. So what's happening? Some of them are coming. My president came. Little Rock says he's coming. Jacksonville came, and we've got some others. I reached out to Pine Bluff down there, Wanda Neal. Love her to death. She ain't returned my call yet. And so when we talk about leadership and we talk about why black folks, it's not just in Arkansas. But like Dave just said, it's across the country that people are wondering, where are the black leaders? What are they doing? Who are they? Where are they? And the answer is we don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think more than anything, we have to start funding these organizations that supposedly work for us.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, you got organizations that get their money from state government, federal government,
Yes, sir.
certain corporations. They can't. Some things they just can't come out and say that they're against.
But you know, you don't have to do that. And I
Yeah, you do.
but no, wait a minute. Here's my point. Is that that old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans. So when you see, why do you think so many of these right-wing groups have been popping up?
Why do you think?
Because they are being funded by
Oh, by Cobra, yeah.
Koch brothers and other white.
But let's
Well,
do this.
but let me finish my point.
Okay.
So my point being is that you use what black people don't understand is how to use people as surrogates. Okay? So let's say you fund ABC organization.
Right.
You know that organization is a hell-raising organization. Okay? And even if people go back and say, look at who's funding them, that's not really gonna matter. Okay? What's gonna matter is that front organization, who's making that noise. So black people don't necessarily have to put their name out there. Just support other organizations who can run interference for you. You know, you've got to have that guy on your campaign that's a hellraiser.
Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
You know how at family reunions they have grown-up tables and kiddie tables? Why am I sitting at the kiddie table?
I don't know. Robert put you over
Look,
there.
I'm
didn't
just
do that.
saying, man.
That's what you said. I didn't do that.
But you understand my
Okay,
point?
Yeah, I understand. But what you think about this? So what you think? Okay, so let's just take a couple of issues that are going on in Little Rock. The Little Rock school just talk about putting guns in schools. No
Right.
official letter from the NAACP.
Nope.
Local, state, or national.
Nope.
No letter from the Urban League.
Nope.
National, state, national, state, or local.
Right.
Any organization that purports to support black folk and has come out. LGBT community, no. The Mexican consulate, no. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody's come out and said one word. So what's troubling about that is when you start having conversations like the one we're having now, for me that's problematic.
Right.
Because how do people know that we're concerned about an issue
Kill this mic.
if there is no conversation around an issue from black leadership? And of course, it's getting to the point now where the voices of Senator Chesterfield and Senator Elliott are kind of being muffled because those are the only voices you hear
Right.
when it comes to issues around education and Representative Walker.
So that's my point about what I was saying about using surrogates to do your work.
Right.
Okay, those people that you've talked about, Senator Walker, Chesterfield, Elliott, you know, I think the world of them. But after a while, your voice it starts sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher. No offense to them,
Right.
because
Wah, wah, wah.
right. So what you have to do, it's the same thing that we do in the radio business. You rarely will see or hear. Now, sometimes you will, but if a person is doing a spot, for instance, if I do a spot, the next spot is by a different voice.
Right.
And then I might come back after that spot. The point being is that when you begin to hear the same voice over and over again, your mind automatically tunes it out. There's been studies to prove that. So what you have to do is change it up. And what I would like the Black Caucus to do here in Arkansas is simply, okay, let's feed information to people who can get this information out. We don't have to say a word. But if I'm feeding that information to what needs to be addressed to Black Focus or any other radio station around the state
Right.
that is dealing with black issues, you see how much more effective that can be? The Black Caucus in Arkansas, and I'm saying this because that's what the Tennessee Black Caucus did in Tennessee when I was actively involved. They would feed our show, Bill Atkins' show, info. So it would come off as if Bill said it,
Right.
but in actuality, it was coming from the Tennessee Black Caucus.
Right.
You get my point?
I get that.
All right. So what the leaders here in Arkansas have not understood or mastered is how to use surrogates to get their message out.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe they don't have surrogates that they feel can carry the message. I mean, that's also a problem. I mean, maybe they don't feel they have the surrogates who can carry the message.
Well,
And that's problematic as well.
Well, I've issued an invitation to them to be one of those surrogates, but they have not responded for whatever reasons. Not to be calling them out, but the point being is that you've got to start getting people out there who will, if you're the only one, like you say, all right, they don't have any support to get bills passed. So, and my thing is that, hey, you ought to be raising hell about it. Well, you necessarily don't have to raise hell about it. Fund that surrogate, whomever that person may be, and let that person raise hell about it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you fight this battle, Bed. That's how you fight this battle. You can't continue low. You can't continue to get out here and fight this battle if, in fact, there's no support for you.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's look at this, man. So I know you saw the article I sent you about Pulaski County, right?
Yes.
About, okay.
The schools and stuff,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
so, I mean, great example of the prison, the school to prison pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Great example. The police officers are arresting black boys and girls for fighting in school.
Yes.
When any other time they get suspended and sent home, and now they've been arrested and taken to jail, right? Not only we're not even go through all the hardships that puts on the family, but just the fact that when we were in school, we fight first period, and we'd be cool third, fourth period,
Right.
And so why it's a little different now that it can escalate, but at the end of the day, we're still treating these kids like they're grown.
I agree.
Kids do dumb stuff. And
yeah.
unfortunately, we did a lot of dumb things.
I didn't.
Okay, well, you didn't, Dave. But we did I did a lot of dumb things.
I didn't.
Had I been, I know you did.
I was a perfect child.
Yes.
You know,
I bet your mother would tell a different story.
there were times I'd walk in a dark room and my halo would light the room up.
Yeah. Only you can say that way.
All right, we're going to take a top of the hour break. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio on JoyNetRadio.com. Good mics. Stop set. Go to... What? You got to pay.
In Clark County since 1966.
Okay. Good. Now, when you come back, you need to do a top drop. All of those will be in the quick sets. Yes. See where it says drops? You do a drop, then you're going to have to quickly come out of that and go to my window so you can play the disclaimer and stuff like that. You can put them down there too. So you got to go to the media finder. And I type in drop.
Call, click, or come by. Mitchell Funeral Services.
So you can drag any one of those down there.
Call us now. Let's walk through this together.
Now you can go and find, now you can go back. I would just really, at this point, I just do the quick sets for once all that's done. And just go back to mine. Okay. So now once that's finished, you hit the top drop, and then you do the disclaimer and the open. Okay. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Newlywed kills husband for life insurance money. Finds out ex-wife is still the beneficiary. Oops!
I'm so glad I found the Kick Above. It's like my very own personal training studio. A Kick Above removes
A newlywed accused of soliciting a firefighter's husband's killing to collect $100,000 in insurance money has been convicted. His wife is still the beneficiary. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Alvin from Habibi's 24
Ah, from what it is.
North Little Rock, we still have the green top at your very next stop. A same great service, but more on it. Give us a call.
Man, did you see what happened in D.C. yesterday with that flood? They said they got so much. I mean, they had cars on the water in D.C. yesterday. Yeah.
Guess who's on JoyNet Radio? It's your girl Ellen J with Coffee Conversations with Lakeisha.
Kamala Harris says credit score should include rent, cell phones, and utilities.
She really reaching for the flag vote.
It's Kingdom, baby. Join us Monday.
How's that gonna help black folks?
Central Standard Time.
Some degree will.
Weekday
It's like black folks have cell phones.
at JoyNet Radio.
But if you're paying your bill late, the whole point of having a good credit score is you're paying your bills on time.
Yeah. As long as you ain't disconnected.
Joy Network.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in
You
mind.
forget the news, don't forget the news.
Our issues.
You gotta go find it. You gotta hurry.
Solutions using
Media
our
finder.
voices. Central Arkansas, the surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So
Drag it down into the cart.
David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
Okay, hit it. Turn it up. Give me some monitor.
And the player tackling is now being faced with charge.
You're gonna come back with the bed.
In hopes of decriminalizing marijuana convictions in Arkansas. We'll see how that turns out. Trump can't block his critics from Twitter account appeals court rule because they say it is a violation of the U.S. Constitution. Two Marines are accused of and charged with smuggling Mexican immigrants into the United States. Well, that's today's Black Focus Headlines News. Now it's time to get focused with more Black Focus Radio.
Yep.
When my mics get hot, you need to point at me and let me know my mics are hot. All right, welcome back to the show. By the way, I want to shout out to LaTanya Grimes for giving Robert all kinds of heck.
What's she giving me heck for? I'm trying to find out.
Just keep giving him heck. It don't matter why you're doing it. Just keep doing it for him.
What is I done done?
But also, I want to shout LaTanya out because I really admire this lady and her family. You can music. I really remind this lady and her family. Every time I see a post from LaTanya has her husband and her 2 children in tow, and they are at some exotic place. And most of the time, it's at a Black historical place. I really admire her for doing that because that's going to bode well for your children in the future. So I guess over the weekend, they were in Cozumel or something, and she and her daughter did a walk on the bottom of the sea, which was pretty cool for her birthday. Her daughter turned 15. So that's what we've got to do. You know, there's a post that I posted the other day, and I'm gonna quickly, and it's pretty short, and it says there are 3 things that we ought to be doing as a Black community. Okay? Only 3 things. Nothing else matters as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, Rob, do you know what they are?
No.
Take a guess.
I couldn't even guess on that. If you said it's only 3 things.
Yeah.
I can
But
think of 20.
those 3 things are gonna come. I'm willing to bet you will encompass your 20 things. So out of those 20 things that you're thinking about, pick 3. I'm curious.
20 things that we ought to be doing.
Actually, it's 3, but you said there are 20 things you could think
I
about.
could, yeah, I mean,
So just pick 3. Just
economic development,
okay.
education,
Okay.
economic development,
That's 2.
education,
Okay.
and construction, reconstructing our communities.
Okay. So you're pretty close.
Yeah,
All right.
I figured I would be. I'm almost perfect when it comes to
Yeah, because you're perfect. The first thing is educate our own children.
Okay.
Isn't that what you just said, basically?
Education, yeah.
And you know, I've been keen on that for years. We have to stop depending on the public school system to educate our children. In fact, I think the public school system should only be an augmentation of educating our children. In other words, what they learn at home or through our own self-education, then the public school system is just a build on to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one. Create our own jobs. That's economic development, right?
Right.
And the last one is support our own businesses. If we did those 3 things, and I say that because I see LaTanya doing those things, she's not only depending on the public school system to educate her children, she's educating them herself.
Right.
And I think that's where we fail in the black community, is that we don't educate our own children. We are dependent upon someone else to educate our children. In fact, even if they are doing that, we don't go to the schools enough to say, this is the curriculum that we need to be teaching. I tell the story all the time when my kids were in school, and the first thing that when they would send the syllabus home, the first thing I wanted to see was, okay, what books are you reading this year? And not only what books are you reading, but who are the authors? Are there any black authors on there? And by the time my daughter got to, I want to say the 4th grade,
Okay.
her teacher was sending notes home to me asking, Mr. Coleman, what books would you recommend for the kids to read this year? And this was a white teacher, because I had politely sent her a note and said, there are no black authors on your syllabus. Why? And she said, well, I don't know any. Wait a minute, you're a teacher and you don't know any black authors? That says a lot to me.
No, it doesn't.
It does to me. Let me tell you what it says to me. It proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that white teachers are not immersed into black culture, because this was a white lady, okay? But she was conscious enough to say, I don't know any, but would you recommend some? So I sent her a whole list, okay? So we've got to start being responsible for our educating. You know, I told the story yesterday about the white teacher who was running a white supremacist blog. Really? So I'm just saying, I think those 3 things are very, very important if we're going to solve our problems in our community. We've just got to do that. And I say all that because I really appreciate LaTanya, what she does for her children, because that's what we all ought to be doing. One other story that we didn't get to yesterday was the white man who called the police on the black man. And by the way, this black man was an engineer, and he was standing in this doorway waiting on a disabled friend. And a white boy walks up and calls the police on him. Demands his name. Well, what's your name? And the guy said, I don't need to tell you my name.
My name Pudding.
You know, so he had a little boy with him. And you know it's bad when your children know you wrong. Your little children. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen this video?
No, I told you I don't watch videos no more.
Oh, that's right. Well, anyway, as he's dialing or fake dialing the police, because I don't think he ever really called the police.
Okay.
You can see the little boy, you can hear the little boy saying, Dad, no, don't do that. Don't do that, Dad.
The little boy saying that.
His little boy is saying that.
From the mouths of babes.
Exactly. I mean, it's sad when and the little boy looked to be like 6 years old. He's telling his dad, he's basically saying, Dad, you're looking like a damn fool.
Yeah, but keep on.
You know?
Just keep down.
So, anyway, I just thought that was interesting. But that particular thing has went viral, and And it's kind of sad that the little boy was doing that. One other note, hats off to Neil Forsyth. I know that doesn't mean anything to you all. I have eaten at his restaurant. It's called Mrs. B's. It's a reggae cafe in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He just up and died, man. He was killed in a car crash on Monday in Georgia. I mean, great chef, nice guy, and he is no longer with us. So unfortunately, that's what happened with that. 855-525-5683. The Chicago Defender.
The show been on for 3 hours, and you finally giving a damn number. What kind of?
I gave the number at the beginning of the show. Were you not here on time?
You did not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus, Dave.
You can always give the
been on
number.
for 3 hours.
Robert, give the number.
Dave, you trying to.
Cha-ching!
You are a dirty dude. That is dirty. That's just gangster right there. That's dirty.
Yeah, it's in my blood.
That's dirty.
It's in my
That's all
blood.
right, cool.
You know,
I'm gonna get you back.
I was just saying. I know.
Yeah, just know. I'm coming.
I'm just saying, man. I got to get my shots in when I can. I've told you all over and over again how media is changing. The Chicago Defender, the legendary black newspaper out of Chicago, which you get tons of great news from them. They are no longer going to be printing copies of their newspaper.
So they're going straight internet.
Everything is digital now.
Yeah.
Everything is digital now, and that's what I've been telling people. This landscape has changed, and when you look at it from a newspaper's point of view, and if I remember correctly, the Democrat Gazette only prints on Sundays for Sunday papers now. This landscape has changed a lot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everything is online. So, but gratefully, and of course, the Tri-State Defender, the paper out of Memphis,
Right.
also has went digital. All of them have at this point.
Everybody's going digital, man. Nobody's taking paper. Nobody's taking paper.
No,
anymore.
I mean, you used to use newspaper. I remember, I tell you what, when I was getting ready to pack to come to Little Rock, I had the Dickens of the time because you wrap your dishes and stuff in paper.
Yeah.
And you just old newspapers. I've been here almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
Just 4 years ago, I had the Dickens of a time trying to find old newspapers
Yeah, it's hard.
because people don't keep them anymore.
Well, if you go down to Democrat, they got tons of them.
Yeah, those rags.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. I want to say 2010, I think 2009, 2010, whenever Arkansas Dem Gas went digital.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't held the paper in my hand since. I read it on my phone, and it's easier to post to Facebook. I mean, it's just convenient, so it just makes it a whole lot easier. So yeah, I haven't actually held a newspaper in my hand since last year. And that was when we were looking at the Arkansas Times. That's the last time I actually physically held a newspaper in my hand. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because my co-host, who wrote for the Banner and the Tennessean, both of those newspapers, every morning when we did the show in Nashville, he would always stop at the local convenience store. He would buy a USA Today, a Wall Street Journal, and the Tennessean.
Yeah, so I get the Wall Street Journal on my phone too. So
Right.
I have no reason to pick them up anymore.
But for me, he'd come in with a handful of papers. I'd just come in with my portable, my laptop.
Yeah.
And I'd be reading the same stuff on my laptop as he was reading in the papers.
Right.
Okay? And I understood his sentiment because he had been in the newspaper business for decades.
Right.
And his sentiment was that I'm buying these papers because this helps keep jobs for people. Okay?
Yeah.
But now, the banner is no more. The Tennessee has basically went digital. Most of these newspapers are firing all of their writers now, and they're having to recreate the wheel, so to speak, as in the media circle is concerned. But yeah, in fact, I haven't picked up a new. I was laughing the other day because back in the day, where was the main place most people read their newspapers?
In the bathroom.
On the toilet.
I still read the text.
I do too. That's what I'm saying. That thought came into my head. I was in the bathroom and I was done with my business,
Yeah.
but I was still sitting there reading the paper,
Yeah.
on my phone,
The doctor told me I had to quit doing that. It's not healthy. You know that, right?
Why?
Your hemorrhoids will come down on you if you sit there. If you do that, if you do it too much.
Oh, I didn't.
Yes, you should do it.
Oh, okay.
Believe me, I know. It's
The TMI.
Get up off that toilet, dog. Get up off the toilet.
But anyway, so the newspapers are going by the wayside. So I'm telling everybody, look, you got to get digital. You got to get digital.
Everybody's going
So-
digital, man.
Oh, here's an interesting story. Man creates GoFundMe so racists can send him back to Africa.
Not a bad idea.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Because, I've been thinking, I wouldn't mind going to Ghana. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So,
It's not a bad idea.
Hmm.
Some people will be crazy enough to give money to, probably.
well, let's see how this works out. If it works for him, I'm going to try
I
it
don't
and
think.
see.
I think if it works once, it's not going to work twice. I think it's only like 20 crazy people total. So I think it's only 20 of them.
No.
And most times you catch all of them at
No,
once.
them racists, they fools, man.
You think
There's
it's
plenty
like
of
that?
them.
Okay.
They like roaches.
Crazy.
They like roaches.
That's
They,
crazy.
when you turn the lights on, they all scatter.
Yeah.
That's what they are. So it's interesting. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. I'm just going through a couple of articles. Man, let me say this. This just popped up. Florida woman accused of urinating in ice cream machine at local shop.
I mean, come on, man.
Okay,
You gonna keep doing these?
so
You eat out. I don't eat out.
no, I don't eat out that much at all. Sorry,
But I've learned. I'm gonna get eat out even less now, though.
all I'm gonna say about that is this: if I'm in the stove, notice I said the stove.
In the stove.
If I'm in the stove and I see somebody doing that, I'm gonna knock the hell out of you.
I ain't doing that. I ain't gonna catch no charge because you trying to.
No. I'm gonna catch a charge, and I guarantee you that they're gonna drop the charges. Okay, because
That's
they are number one. They are committing a criminal act. That's product tampering. And again, I'm real sensitive about this because what do? I have a product.
You eat food outside.
No.
Oh, okay. But you can say that you eat food outside. I didn't know. All right, go
Man,
ahead.
hey guys, it's really hard to soar with eagles when you work with turkeys. Okay. But no, I mean, obviously I produce a product that people eat. And every time I see that, I imagine someone doing my product like that. Now, fortunately for me, I have spent extra money on seals and caps where that can occur. So if you pick up one of my products and that seal has been broken, you know not to buy it. But I'm real sensitive about that, man, because think about it from this perspective. Let's say somebody buys that product and that person dies.
Hold on, Dave. Let me read something real quick. I think people might be interested in this, but just a minute.
Okay.
It says, ladies and gentlemen, please review the above data compiled by the city purchasing manager. This is a prima facie evidence of racial discrimination against black contractors. The only remedy for this past discrimination is to create a comprehensive policy in the area of minority contract participation in city contracts and enforce the new policy through the Office of Minority Contract Compliance. I am surprised the city has not been sued for this discrimination. Sincerely, Julius Larry III.
Who is Julius Larry?
Julius Larry is the publisher of the Low Rock Side. So check this out. These numbers, and these are the things that we've been talking about for years. So in 2019, the city spent $3 million in contracts. Well, the city spent $3 million with non-minority firms they spent $130,000 on minority firms. In 18, they spent $89 million with non-minority firms. They spent $2 million with non-minority firms. They spent I need my glasses. In 17, they spent $86 million in 17 with non-minority firms, and they spent $2.8 million with minority firms. So the percentages break down like this. Overall, they spent 90% of their money was spent with non-minority firms, 2.59% with minority firms, 0.002% with AA. I don't know what AA means because there's no chart in here to provide that for me. AA and AI firms were 3.6%. I wonder what AI firms are. And DBE firms were 0.44%. And I guess the DB is disabled veterans. That was 0.0%. HA, I don't know what that stands for, that was 0.18%. WBEs, whatever that is, they spent 3.1%. So, ain't nobody making money in Little Rock but no minorities.
So I think that piece that you read brings up an interesting point, which I think kind of takes us back to where we started. Why hasn't Little Rock been sued?
Well, who's going to sue? Because whoever's going to sue them probably ends up getting a little piece of the pie and they just forget about it.
So it's not a big deal then. We shouldn't worry about it, right?
No, we should just go about our business like that never happened. Forget I read it. Please continue.
Okay.
But I mean, that's my point, though. I mean, that's why it never happens, because usually whoever approaches the subject, it just dies. I mean, it's kind of like when Otis Kirkland, who we had Otis Kirkland on the show, he talked about the photography and how they were trying to get different stuff, right? And so he talked about that they were trying to get contracts with the school district to take pictures, and how they didn't get they couldn't get those contracts, and they would give all the contracts to minorities. And so when they started complaining about it, they gave him a contract. They just gave him one,
right?
Where he took the IDs at Central. And so those are the kind of things he's talking about, right? You get the IDs, and then that's it.
Well, the point being is that until people start complaining about it, again, that goes back to what we're talking about. That's leadership, bro. I mean, look, let me ask you this question. What is the best black city in America? What would you think?
In relation to what?
As far as success for black people.
I don't think there's a city that's successful black people. Collectively. I don't think there's one.
Yeah, there's one.
Everybody wants to reference Atlanta. Listen, I don't live in that world where just because a few black people come up, that means it's all good for everybody. Because it ain't hell. Everybody ain't came up. When everybody come up and everybody doing all right, then I'll be like, all right, cool.
Man, you hard, man.
95% of people in our race live in poverty. 5% of us don't.
Right.
How is that good for black folks?
But the point being,
ain't no point to that.
Man,
it ain't no damn point to that.
It is, Robert.
It's not a point. 95% of folks living in poverty, and you saying, hey, you know what? If you want to be better, go to Atlanta.
No, that's not what I said. If you let me finish my point before you whacked my head off.
I told you I owed you.
Yeah, you did. Okay. If Atlanta is where it is, and those few that did get to come up are where they are, is because of Maynard Jackson. Maynard Jackson demanded that when they were going to begin to extend or open up Hartsfield Airport, that X amount of dollars had to go to minority contractors. Okay. In turn, those minority contractors got rich. They hired black people. Some of those black people got rich. In other words, some of that money that was coming from the city did go to black people. I'm simply saying is that at some point, your community leaders have got to start demanding, and by the way,
Who community leaders?
your community leaders,
Pardon me? Who?
yours,
Who?
yours. Oh, that's right. We don't have community leaders.
Who are you? Who are you?
We don't have.
Who are
any.
you, Dave?
I'm Dave Coleman.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
they've got to start demanding those types of contracts. You know, does Little Rock have any? I know Memphis had them often,
What's that?
and Nashville had them. Minority, they would have seminars periodically, sponsored by the city and the state, of how minorities could become contractors with the state. Does Little Rock have anything like that?
Not that I know of. I've never heard of it. Not saying they don't. I've just never been.
Okay.
privy to it.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
They may, but I don't think they do. But again, there are a lot of black businesses out there who could become contractors with the state.
Well-
they just don't know how to become contractors
Well, let's
with
talk
the
about
state.
let's talk about the union for businesses in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that union?
It's for white folks.
No, but who is the union though?
You talking about for black people?
No, the union for white people. The union for
The Chamber of
businesses.
Commerce.
Exactly. So the union is going to make sure that they control. They want to make sure they control that money.
I agree with that, but
So
those were Chamber of Commerces in those other cities as well. But the fact of the matter is, you have to take the initiative as a city and say, "Hey, look, we're going to. You can call it whatever you want, a set aside. I don't care, but we're going to make sure. This is what Maynard Jackson did. This is what many other cities that you've seen black populations increase wealth. You've seen them say,
So
we're going to set.
Your mayor be here next week. You can ask him about it. You can ask him about it.
That's on the agenda, okay? Because,
I want you to make sure you ask your mayor.
but see,
I want you to make sure
but
you ask your
again,
mayor
here's the
about
problem with that.
it. With what?
Here's the problem with that. That our form of government is not set up for a mayor to push that type of agenda.
You know what? Nah, player. Y'all ain't getting away with that. Y'all ain't getting away with
Okay.
that. I'm not.
So
no,
okay, let me.
No, Dave.
You know why? You know why?
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
You know why Maynard
Hell
Jackson?
no.
You know why
No.
Maynard Jackson could do that?
No, Dave.
Because Maynard Jackson had a bully pulpit.
No, Dave.
Okay.
And you saying your mayor now doesn't have one?
But he has no power.
Don't stutter. How is there no power? Dave?
Okay, so
Hold on, Dave. Wait, hold on, player.
okay.
Hold on, player.
Mm-hmm.
Now your mayor just closed 2 golf courses. Right? You just closed 2 golf courses.
You're real sensitive about that, ain't you? I know why you
He
mad at him,
closed-
because you done closed your little golf course. Your little cubby hole over there where you go and hide the 6-pack of beer behind the tree.
Exactly.
I know. You just be able to hide it behind the skating rink this time.
Yeah, I don't want to. He closed 2 golf courses, and I can't remember what else he did, but he closed 2 golf courses. Now, my thing is, right, that he has power to close 2 golf courses. You now don't have the luxury of telling me he no longer has a bullet pulpit. You no longer have that luxury. So,
But wasn't that on the agenda before he got into office?
Whatever I would have given him a pass for.
Wasn't that on the agenda before he got into office, though?
What?
Closing those golf courses.
So now see, you sound like a company man, Dave. I'm gonna have to check you, Dave. You sound like a company man. I'm gonna get
You know what?
investigated.
I had to struggle to keep my head from jumping over there and choking the hell out of you. But okay.
No. So yeah, true to that point. But this is the thing, as we said again, this is when I say when you start having conversations about strong governance, right? So just this year, First Tee came down. Let me go back, because at first I need to make sure people understand what I'm about to say. It is not the job of the city to turn a profit. The job of the city is to provide a certain quality of life for its residents, all of its residents, right? And in doing that, we should not ever expect our city to turn a profit. We just want our city to be able to maintain whatever it does, right?
Okay.
Okay. With that being said, if you're gonna look at what you're gonna close, then you don't close War Memorial, you don't close Repsamen, you close First Tee. The reason you close First Tee is that Repsamen never comes down and said, War Memorial never comes down and said we need additional money. Hammond never comes down and said we need additional money. The one who comes down and says they need additional money, guess who that one is? That's First Tee.
Okay.
First Tee always comes down, and every year almost they need additional money for something or another. Every year. Now, First Tee is the only golf course of all golf courses, of the 3 golf courses, that gets to keep its own revenue. It keeps its own revenue. We don't know how much they make. We have no idea because they keep that revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, First Tee gets grants from the city of Little Rock. So they get grants from PIT money to sponsor some of their programs.
Okay.
First Tee is a liability on the city, but you don't close it. You don't close it.
Okay.
You close War Memorial and you close Hyman, and you say you're doing it to save money. Again, you would have saved more money had you closed First Tee and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
You would at least save yourself $500,000 a year just closing First Tee. Because I think what they came out last year, they needed 400,000, 400,000 or 500,000 last year. This year, I think they needed 300,000. In 2 years, they needed almost $1 million. They're $300,000 short of it. $300,000 short of $1 million, and then you go and close War Memorial.
So I understand all of that, but so I'm just curious. So when that vote came down, do you know the breakdown of the vote as far as voted for closing as opposed to leaving?
There was no vote.
How was it? The city board didn't vote on that?
No.
How's that how was it that it wasn't a vote?
I don't know. You gotta ask them. Nobody voted on it. They voted to approve the budget.
So, and in the budget, they didn't keep.
They don't specify in the budget what they're cutting, what they're not cutting. They just budget so much money. They don't budget to say, okay, in the budget we're gonna close six parks or we're gonna repurpose 3 golf courses. That's not that has never been voted on by the city board. The city board has never voted on closing War Memorial or closing Hyman Park. They've never voted on it.
Well, my point is this, I'm just simply saying, in sticking with the contracts, we have to figure out a way to, number one, make black businesses who have the capacity to get city contracts to start applying for those contracts.
The ones who have capacity are getting the contracts.
Okay. So what's the problem?
There is no problem for them.
So if it's no problem, if black people who are applying for those city contracts are getting them, then we have no conversation then.
Yeah, but 80%, 90% of your money is going to non-minority contractors.
I understand
in a
that.
City that is diverse as ours.
I understand that, but
There's majority minority.
right, but okay, so but if let's make it simple. So 90% of the money is going.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? What do you? Let's say the population breakdown in Little Rock for black people is what? 35%.
No, it's closer to 40.
It's 40%. Okay. Then
Like 40 and some change because with us and the Hispanics is 51%.
51%, right. So if there is not 40% of representation from black businesses applying for that money, what do they do? You see what I'm saying? What I'm simply saying is that, okay, if we want to make the argument that black people are not getting their fair share as it relates to government contracts, then we need black businesses that are applying for that money. See, because their argument is going to say, it's going to be this.
It's always going to be the assumption that there is not black companies applying for contracts.
But you're taking what I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah. So I remember one board meeting we were sitting in there and Kim was talking about this, Director Richard was talking about this very thing during a board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Cochran said, well, there's too many minority businesses to do that. Well, what the hell they got to do with it?
That's not a good argument.
But that's what Tom said. Now, whether he was being facetious, I doubt it because it was during a board meeting. But the point is that here we are now, we're having this conversation, and we have the information in front of us, right? And the information is damning.
But what I'm saying to you is that what Tom Carpenter said, that's not a good argument. The argument, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because he basically said, well, we got black businesses. The next question should have been, well, why aren't we giving some of that money to them? The argument should have been, well, we don't have enough black businesses applying for that money. And then the question should be, well, why is that? And I think then Little Rock goes out and says, okay, we're going to have a symposium. Become a contractor And I believe that's been done because now that I think about it, when I was taking my business class over at Willie Hinton, I remember them bringing people in, talking to that class about becoming a minority vendor for the city. I remember that clearly. So there are apparatuses set up to get black businesses to become vendors. The question is that information getting out to potential black business owners? You understand what I'm saying? Because our little group, there were 15 of us in that class, some white, some black.
Right.
Okay. That was for our little group.
Right.
Is that same information, because you can go over to by the way, you can go over to the ULR Business School and they will help you with that. Okay. So the question is that information getting out to our community? Because if it isn't, then maybe the city needs to do a better PR campaign in order to make sure that that's done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get your point, but I think to touch on just to touch on that was a good point. And I don't think I will say it is about not getting information out there. But I also believe we don't have enough businesses doing certain types of things, and I believe to some degree the city makes it really hard to get contracts through the city because of some of the things that they implement. And so that being the case, and then smaller businesses not being able to navigate those waters in such a way that they can gain those contracts.
Well, therein that goes back to what I just said. Maybe the city, if that's the case.
Well, the city's not going to do that because we've tried it already. So I mean, none of this is new. I'm really glad that people now are starting to take on different things now because we fought these fights back in right before the sales tax came because we knew there was going to be a ton of money being made and we wanted to make sure that there was a lot of minority participation. And we reached out to folks to help us to accomplish that. And unfortunately, the city they were not willing to yield in respects to some of their practices.
So
to make it easier
okay.
for minority contractors to participate.
So that's where the lawsuit comes into play. So
well, technically we couldn't file a lawsuit because, long story short, we were asking them to break down bids. So instead of saying, okay, we want to build a $60 million building, build a $60 million building, but separate the electrical, HVCU, separate everything. So individual contractors could bid on it instead of having, because to bid on a contract like that, you got to be a big business, right? You got to be a big builder or a commercial builder. You couldn't have electricians who just owned the electrician company bid on building a $60 million building. So we were asking them to separate the bid, break it down by electrical, plumbing, HVAC, concrete work. We were asking them to break it up, right? Well, they wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do it.
No, and I mean, again, like I said.
So they didn't have the will to do it.
No, you can't file a lawsuit because honestly, to some degree, it made sense, and it was a sensible answer. But what was problematic is that it could have been done with a little foresight vision. It could have been done.
Well, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. And to your point, yeah, it could have been done. But the problem is that, look, we know white folks ain't gonna do nothing unless they pushed.
Well,
they'll come up.
These weren't white folk, though.
Look.
He wasn't white folk.
It was their white power structure.
Yeah, he wasn't white folk.
Okay. Yeah, it was. They were operating by the white power structure.
You talking. See,
okay.
This is the issue I have. We always want to say white folk holding us back. White folk put black folks in position of power to hold us back.
That's the point. It was their white power structure. So what I'm saying is that if there's the will to do it, and the key is there's got to be the will to do it, number one. And number two is that we have to help people out in the community who have those businesses who have went to the city and tried to get those contracts and have been denied for whatever reasons. That's where the lawsuits began to come into play. You see what I'm saying? Right now, there are black people in this city are simply throwing their hands up and saying, hey, look, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because until we have the will to change this, they're not going to change anything they want to change in this city. That's pretty clear. You know, they'll throw you out a few little crumbs every now and then, and you got to deal with that. Period. So we've got to have the will to do it. In other words, I've told you all over and over again, you got to think outside. Stop putting yourself in a box. Don't even think outside the box. Because if you think outside the box, when you stop thinking, guess where you are? You're still in a damn box.
We have to start,
Okay.
we have to start spending money on ourselves before.
Exactly.
I mean, I am really. I'm almost at the point that I'm just kind of tired of the whole conversation because
You can't get tired, bro.
yeah, well,
I know why you're tired, but you can't get
I've
tired.
removed myself, but there's certain conversations that at this point just aren't even worth having. So, while I really appreciate what Dr. Larry did, and I really hope it gets some traction. I really doubt it will, because you'll have people, black folks, who will come and say, you know, the city has really worked with me to try to help me get more minority contracts. And I'm gonna say this again: there has to be betrayal. There has to be consequences for betrayal.
Well,
and there are none.
Well, those people are, because I'm getting mine, they're doing a great job.
Right.
That's basically what they're saying.
Right.
You know, and I think you make an excellent point, and we're gonna have to end the show early because I've got a doctor's appointment. But I think you make an excellent point, Robert, is that the problem in the black community, and then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Until we focus on our own community, you know, I know some of your friends got upset with you yesterday because you were talking about you weren't carrying water for anyone else. You know, until we start understanding that concept, until we stop trying to make it for good for everybody.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be comfortable.
You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
But it's almost like, hey, Rob, you know what? My utility bill is due next week. I need you to pay my bill. And Rob says, okay, I got to pay mine, but forget about mine. I'm going to pay your utility bill. This is what we're doing in our community.
Yeah, but your mama always told you, don't you never go to nobody else's house and clean up their house and your house ain't.
Exactly.
We do it every day.
We do it every day in our community.
Every day.
And until we stop that, somehow, and again, I know people hate me saying this, this is white supremacy. It has affected your mind so much.
Yeah.
And I read that, did you hear the piece I read from Dr. Relson yesterday? It has affected, and I'm going to read it again real fast. It has affected our minds so much that we're willing to sell our own souls and our children so that we can prove to them that, hey, we ain't racist like y'all. While they're laughing all the way to the bank. I don't understand that concept. I just don't understand taking care of them first, and then you get the crumbs, and then you can go feel good and pray about it. Well, you know, the Lord He gonna make a way for us. He gonna make a way. Well, you know, He gonna make a way, Robert. You ain't praying hard enough.
Yeah, you gotta be good.
You know, I don't understand that concept, and until we change that mentality, you know, it's almost like, who was here's the Wilson quote. We are the only people on this entire planet who have been taught to sing and praise our demeanment. I'm a bitch, I'm a hoe, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug, I'm a dog. If you can train people to demean and degrade themselves, you can oppress them forever. You can even program them to kill themselves, and they won't even understand what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Is that they programmed us so good that we destroy ourselves so that we can uplift them. And we see it every day.
Yeah.
We see it in those black contractors that you talked about. I got mine, hey, he gonna have to get his. Instead of that brother say, hey man, look, you know, I know how to do this, let me help you out. We can both get money.
Well, because the pie ain't that big, baby. You don't want to bring another contractor in because You bring another contract in. That's a
But-
piece of the pie you lose.
But the pie is that big. You just don't see that.
No,
You
no.
don't. Let me explain why. I know what you're saying.
You say
Yeah.
it's big because you see the pie.
Right.
He only sees the crumb. He's getting from
Boom.
the pie.
That's what I'm saying. See, because he's not seeing the big pie. Because his.
Oh, he sees the big pie. He doesn't know he ain't gonna get none of the big
Well-
pie. He happy with his crumb.
Well-
and he want to make sure he hold on. To
Well,
his
then
crumb.
we're doomed. We're doomed as a people.
We've been-
If we
we've been
continue,
doomed.
if we continue this process, then we're gonna be doomed.
No, you're not, because God will give you heaven when you go get your reward in heaven. So you gotta die first to get your reward. So die. I would think that.
Did you just really say that to
I
me?
just think that if you're gonna get
Did
your
you
reward,
just really say that to me?
everybody should be blowing their brains out so they can get their reward right now. Why would they be still here if you're gonna get your reward in heaven? Blow your brains out, go and get there. Get your reward. I want to claim my prize before somebody else gets it.
You want to get to the pearly
I wanna
gates
get
and
my
walk to
pearly
the
gates.
streets of
Yeah,
gold.
walk to the streets
You know
of
that
gold.
place where no one has ever seen.
I can drink beer all day.
No one has ever. No
I can
one.
watch TV, just
Tell me
chill.
one person you know that's been there.
I don't know of anybody who's been there.
Okay. So how do you know the gates are pearly
Well,
and the streets are gold?
Well, hey, that's what they say. Like,
Well, I'm gonna tell you that while you waiting to get there, I want mine here.
You want yours here?
I'm sorry. I want mine
I
here.
would think everybody want theirs here.
I'm just saying.
But it is
Anyway,
what it is.
start the bed for me, please. Producer. You gotta pay attention. Start the bed.
Hey, they want to know who you're close by again.
That quote is by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing.
Francis Quest.
Okay? She's y'all know that's my girl. I love her to death. Okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say death. But she's dead. She died about 2 years ago, as a matter of fact. Yeah, but anyway, hey, we got to cut the show short today. I've got to get to an MRI. So, and you can't miss those appointments. So, sorry about that, but we're cutting about 10 minutes short today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. You're listening to Black Focus Radio. Rob, good job as always. Thanks for Rozelle for dropping in. Also, thanks for Clayton for running the show today. He's got to quit texting those little women on Facebook, or no, I guess they use Instagram, but Snapchat, whatever they doing, Chat Snap or Booger Nose, or I don't know what they call them these days. But did a great job as well. Appreciate that also. But we got to get out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow as well, and we will reschedule Dr. Anderson as well. Okay, gotta go. Y'all have a great day.
Peace. Hey, spend money. Oh, you already killed it. Do that. I see. I'm out, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. You gonna try to get with me later on or what? Cause
Yeah,
we
I'm
really.
gonna go to Pine Bluff. I'm gonna go to what you call it real quick because I can't get my company email. I need my email.
All right. Well, holler at me, man.
I need to put it back on automation.
No. Before you do that, you need to play the close. Go ahead and hit it. Hit the close.
You've been listening
Okay,
to
good.
Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m. on JoinetRadio.com.
All right. So good job. The one thing that both of you all are gonna have to pay attention to is the board. I know you're on your Facebook thing, but when we're running the show, until y'all learn this, y'all need to put the phones down.